All right. So you'll start mowing in, call it March, depending on when you start spinning up fertilization. Well, there's other things you could potentially do, but the real mowing season is going to start in March. Real weed control season starts whenever, because there are pre-emergence and things like that. And in our market, you generally see most of the weeds start pop. Like February's the prime selling is when you can start selling fertilization weed control. It's easier to sell. Let's put it that way. It's not. You could start selling it before, but people are seeing more weeds in February, and so that's when it works better to sell. Okay, how do you guys think about staffing when you get there? You and John are working on the business, and will you wait till February to start staffing mowing, or will you start how do you think about backing into getting enough team members? Because you're also doing something else that most people don't do or struggle with, and that's because you're going to be moving fast. You have to almost predict to a little degree. I think I'm going to bring in this many clients. I'm probably going to need this many people. I'm going to get this many people ready in advance. Like, that's the thing so many people forget about when they're thinking about growth. I think we can grow by 700,000 next year. And they think about the marketing function, but they don't think about the hiring function, the training function, the management function, the everything else. So how will you be thinking about that approaching this?
Yeah, the biggest advantage I have here is that I do know relatively what the customer acquisition cost is in that market. We have 2 locations that are 45 minutes from there. So that gives me a good idea. Again, some good research with AI, like you can get pretty close. But specifically because I have seen ads performance within a decent radius of that market. So I take that and then I start putting it against what we see when people start spending more on a platform. And because there is diminishing returns, you're not going to get $40 customer acquisition cost and then go dump $2,000 a day on Facebook ads and expect $40 per customer. It's not happening. It would likely triple. And so depending on the size of your market. And so because my market is relatively small, 100 to 200,000 people, I can't dump tons of money on and just expect it to not have huge diminishing returns once I hit a certain level. And so that's the thing that we're forecasting. It's like, okay, we have seen certain sizes of markets, we have seen certain customer acquisition cost, and then let's try to be conservative with how much that's going to actually be. If it's double the customer acquisition cost, can I still hit the target? So in all reality, the reason I can be confident with the $1 million is because I can project that number out with a lot of confidence, assuming nothing operationally goes wrong, going back to the importance of the general manager. Because if that stays intact, I have done the due diligence to know, okay, this is what I'm pretty confident I can hit. I'm going to use this as my assumption, and then I'm going to backfill with how much I have to spend on marketing to be able to then do that much work. How many trucks and how many employees do I need to hire? Yep. And so it's just a backwards math, starting with customer acquisition cost, how many customers, what's my annual customer value, that's how much revenue I get to. So there it is. And that's why I actually had to add in fertilization weed control, is because the mowing side, I would not get there with the level of confidence I wanted to, as well as the fact that during the off season, it is something I can still kind of sell, especially during February. And so those are the 2 reasons I actually added that back in, because I can spend more on CAC if my annual customer value is a lot higher because I have a second service. And so in terms of hiring, we're going to immediately get 3 vans and immediately be hiring within the first week or 2 there.
I assume your $1 million goal is based on run rate, not actual revenue for the year.
Yep, I'll be tracking recurring revenue. So like monthly recurring revenue, I have what, 84,000 or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so if you do the math, okay, like let's say there's $200 per month per customer. So $200 divided out by 84,000, that's 400 customers. Something
I just was waiting on you to answer.
Something like 400 to 500 recurring customers, if that's their average monthly ticket. That being said, we're not going to be able to hit that likely. $200 is higher for those 2 services that I think I can achieve. And so it is likely that we'll have to hit, based on projections, somewhere between 550 and 700 recurring customers. Depends on my hit rate on fertilization weed control.
Yep. I think you can hit this number. I know a number of people have spun up contractor-based businesses just mowing and have hit that number. Yeah,
I'll be honest, like there's already owners in Augusta that have done this. They just came in with a lot more capital, right? So they immediately hit the ground running. They had a couple $100,000. They spent a large budget. So it's been done. I want to document it. And my hope is that this becomes the standard for Augusta, but also that it's the playbook for someone that wants to grow faster. And it's not like, well, if I want to start a lawn care business or any home service, you don't need to go start doing the work. I will not pick up a tool at all throughout this entire event. And like, that's part of the challenge. Like I can't pick up the tools. And so I do believe that this also raises the level of professionalism because we get investor types that are going to come in. They're going to pay higher wages. They're going to be more professional. They're going to pay for agencies and for office staff or people to be answer the phone. And so I don't think it's a bad thing for the industry. And I would like to have an alternative for some people that might be watching content that all you see is people mowing grass. And that will not be these videos. It'll be a lot of whiteboard strategy, mapping, stuff on AI, showing the screen. It's going to be a lot of strategy. And so I hope to just show that angle.
Yeah, I think it demonstrates a lot. For the audience who will never do any kind of business with you, it demonstrates how could they do this for themselves. For the person that's like, hey, maybe I want to be part of the Augusta world someday. What would my experience look like? How could we get there? Like, how would they help me get there? And so there's a lot of different things that are shown here that are of value that in a whole lot of different ways. When you think about, and I'm about to ask a question that I don't know if you can, I don't know much about franchising, so I don't know if you could legally answer it. I have no idea. Like if you were to think about this as an investment, if like, let's say you made me think of this because you said investor. So as an investor, if I could write a $300,000 check and buy $150,000 a year in profits and get my money back in 2 years, that's like an interesting math equation right there. So is there any kind, again, I don't know what you're allowed to say, or maybe you answer it from non-Augusta franchise terms. Like, what do you think it would cost to spin up $1 million in revenue? What do you think $1 million, if I was the investor, not the guy running it, I guess I'm kind of involved if all I have is a GM, but what do you think a profit could be on something like this? Can you even answer that question?
Yeah, I can. So as of last year, we have our item 19, so we disclose all this. So it's on the website, it's all public.
Okay.
So I would say if someone's going to grow at the speed that I am going to, it's be what we would call an executive level, which is you have to have a $500,000 of net worth. Like you have to have that. I shouldn't even say net worth. I should say capital to spend. Now, will you spend $500,000? No. But if you're trying to grow to $1 million in the first year and then likely keep that kind of growth rate, I don't want you going this with $60,000 or $70,000. I don't. And so I'm going to try to be really realistic when I'm making the videos about like, here's what I'm spending on marketing. It's a lot. And the customer acquisition cost is not going to be low because I'm spending a lot of money. Yeah. And I'm while I'm spending a lot of money, trying to figure out what's working, what's not. And so I would personally say if someone was trying to go from 0 to $1 million, I would be having at least $150,000 to $200,000 of cash ready to deploy. And I would personally, like from a franchise perspective, we're looking for over $500,000 that you have access to. So even if you were getting something like $300,000 of debt, $200,000 cash, we have seen 100% a huge indicator of success is just, do you have access to capital? Because if things are going really well, you can still run out of money and fail. And the worst thing that happened is you run out of cash because you grew so fast and everything was going so well, and you run out of money in your first off season because you haven't established your off season yet. So having enough capital is something that I've always had a deep passion for people with less money, but I consistently see them come in to Augusta specifically. I would say a broad stroke for business is like, if you're going to grow fast, you need capital. And so your point about the investor type is like definitely a big reason why, like from the franchise perspective, we're doing this is I want to show that like your return on invested capital is better inside this than other mechanisms, whether it be you're comparing a Taco Bell, or you're comparing it to something else. If you're going to start a lawn care business and start doing door hangers, you can't compare that investment to starting a gym or a fast food restaurant or another franchise that costs $800,000 or $1 million to start. You can't even compare the two. And so I want to be able to take more of the approach of like, if you're an investor and you have the capital, here's the alternative way to use home services to scale quickly.
Do you think this is like a 200,000 in spend kind of scenario on marketing to get to $1 million? Do you have like some guesstimate you're coming in with?
This is the first time I said this. Yeah. Oh. Right now, my budget is $130,000
Oh, okay. A little less
what
than I would have. I have not done the math, but I would have guessed a little higher for going this quick.
Yeah, that assumes that I get there in 6 months.
Okay.
So
Get to your number in 6 months.
I think I can get there in 6 months. That's my goal.
What month will you deploy the spend? Do you know? You may not know yet.
All in the first 6 months.
Yeah, but you're going to be there in September. So, starting from September to the end of spring.
Correct. I'm only there 6 months, and the publicly stated goal is 1 year. Yeah. I'm going to try to get there by the time I leave. So everyone that heard that can just exit that off of their memory. It's going to be a year long before I hit the goal.
Yeah.
But as like the last to get me from like 99 percentile to 100 was like, okay, I'll make it a year, but I'll plan for 6 months. And so my goal is that by the time I leave April 20th, we've hit over the 84 monthly recurring revenue.
Towards the end of April is when it slows. Mid-May is when it really slows.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how many trucks will that be till you hit 1 million?
A lot of it depends on my penetration rate with fertilization, and I am strictly guessing on that, to be honest with you. And so I have a pretty good idea of how many technicians we need, how many vans we would need. That'd basically be a full location, which for us is 6 to 8 technicians. But I don't know what rate I'm going to be able to get from lawn care into fertilization. I don't know that number, and that's going to really hinge what that looks like.
A typical person running $1 million lawn mowing business, how many trucks is that? It depends on a market and factors.
Yeah,
I
if you're doing double trucks, if you're doing like 2, so we're going to do solo routes.
Okay.
So, but like for us, we can get there with 6 to 8 technicians, which would be 6 to 8 trucks, which is very capital intensive. I think someone that was like, hey, I have less money. Okay, great. You'll double up your employees. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I'm asking just kind of gives you an idea of the math behind an investment like this.
If you've built a $1 million home service business, but you're struggling to get to the next level at $10 million in annual revenue, I've created a private community just for you. It's called Home Service Boardroom, because what got you to $1 million is all the work, the hustle, the grind, figuring out your leads, your website. But what gets you from $1 million to $10 million is learning the skill of leadership, finding other great talent and managers to work for you. If that's of interest, go check out mikeandy.com/school or see the link in the description.